Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my random thoughts on Thursdays. And well, I guess I've been gone a while and I guess I'm back, at least this week. Alright, so yeah, I have been gone a long time now in YouTube terms anyway. It's just, I'm sorry. I know I meant to continue doing my vlogs, and just, I guess I lost my motivation more than anything else. I started wrapping myself into other creative outlets and projects and things, and I just, like, every week Thursday would come around and oh, I didn't do a video again this week, and oh, I don't feel like it. And so I just kind of, like, week after week I kept procrastinating, and finally here we are in June, and finally I'm making another video. I never meant to abandon my YouTube channel, I really did not, and I do want to get back into it. So anyway, hopefully I will be back. I don't know if I'll do every Thursday or not yet. I know I keep saying that every time I do a video. It's like, I don't know if I'm going to come back or not, but I do want to. I do enjoy doing this, so let's see how it goes, shall we? So, what have I been doing in the last 6 months? Well, I've kind of lost myself in the world of Dragon Age. That's a big thing. Started last November when Origin gave away Dragon Age Origins for free. It was just before Dragon Age Inquisition came out. So I said, well, I've never played this game yet, so I thought I'd start playing it, and I've just become addicted. Like, you wouldn't believe addicted to this game. So I've played through Origins twice now. I have a third playthrough I'm working on. I've played through DA2 once all the way, working on a second one. And I'm getting close to finishing Inquisition on my first playthrough, and I have 2 others that I've planned that I want to play through as well. And for those of you who don't know what Dragon Age is, I mean, obviously it's a video game, me being a gamer and everything, and just quick summary, it's an RPG, it's not an MMORPG, even though the Inquisition now has an MMO component if you want to, but it's mostly single player. And you're in this world called Thedas. With the first game, your player character is called the Warden, and you become a Grey Warden, and there's all sorts of different origins depending on what race and class you choose. To me, my biggest thing that I compare the game to in some ways is, if you remember from the 1980s, if you're old enough, that there were these choose your own adventure storybooks. And so you read the story, and then you get to a decision point in the story, and you have to make a choice in that story. And then it says, okay, if you make this choice, go to page 6. If you go to this choice, go to page 10, etc. And it kind of, the way the story ends up is based on the choices you make in the story that you read. Well, very much in Dragon Age. I mean, there's some big points, big plot points that can't be changed no matter what you do in the game. But there are a lot of undercurrents in the game that are the political structures, especially, that get changed depending on the choices you make. You get to choose, and you can influence who leads different nations in the game, and just there's you have choices between who lives and who dies in certain scenarios in the game. Which companions remain loyal to you in the game. You can just kick them out. There's just so much complexity in just the interactions that you have with the companions that you have to choose from to play with. And just some of the other non-player characters and officials and political leaders and religious leaders in the game and everything else. And that's a big part of what really draws me into the game, is how much you can influence the world and build the world, to the point where they've actually now have a website called Dragon Age Keep, where you can actually upload the world states that you've created in each of the versions of the game, so that the world state that you created in the first game actually influences the second game that you play to some degree. There's certain things that will change, there's certain interactions that will change based on things that you did in the first game, and the same thing happens. Like the first 2 games, the choices that you make will influence certain interactions in the third game. And it's just really fascinating. The romance component in the game is also kind of interesting. Yes, I like the romance component. You know, I'm female and everything, so obviously we like that. And if you are a fan of the game, or if you've at least played the game, I definitely like. Let's see, for the first game, I tend to prefer romancing the boys over the girls. So I'm sorry for those of you who prefer Liliana and Morrigan in the first game, but Alistair and Zevran are my two favorites. And if I could get those two to kiss each other, that would be even better, but you know, that's another story altogether. In the second game, of course, it's Anders and Fenris, and I like both of them, even though I am unabashedly always pro-mage. So for those of you who play the game, pro-mage. I do not like the Templars. I don't like the Chantry. I have issues there. So if you're a pro-Templar person, I'm sorry, but I don't like those Templars. You know, except for a few of them, like, you know, Alistair, who's never quite made it to Templar, and Cullen, of course, who, he's a sweetie. He's not a bad Templar. But there's enough bad ones out there, so anyway. So yes, that's my big addiction right now. To the point where I've actually also started writing fan fiction. That's some of the creative outlets I talked about earlier. Is yes, I've been writing fan fiction for Dragon Age. I have my stories up on fanfiction.net as well as Archive of Our Own. I prefer Archive of Our Own instead over fanfiction, just because you can. You can be as explicit as you want to in certain contexts, and yes, I write smut. You know what? I am not going to be ashamed of that, because you know what? It's fun. It's a great outlet, and I don't know, it's just, I enjoy it. It's fun, and apparently some people enjoy what I write as well. I'm starting to get better at writing plots. So obviously some of my earlier stories, I followed I actually tried to stick to the canon plot of Origins very, very closely for the very first story I wrote. Other than throwing in a couple of twists with the way I was writing a romance. But then, with the most recent story, I started trying to get into kind of my own plot and delving a little bit outside of canon and outside of the game itself, and kind of going in a different direction. So more of an alternative universe while still staying within, like, I didn't do a modern AU. I did within canon to a degree, but still alternate because of some of the things I chose in there. So if you look up either on fanfiction.net or Archive of Our Own, in either one, I'm Kleineganz, so the name of this channel. I'm not ashamed of anything I've written, and so I'm just telling you guys, you know, go and read it. It's not like I earn any money off of it, because I can't. It's fan fiction. You can't earn money from fan fiction because of copyright. So I'm just doing it just for the fun of it. It's just been, you know, a really interesting experience for me to kind of get into writing more fiction. I've done a lot of blog writing over the years. I do have my children's book that I'm still working on. I mean, I've written it. We're still working on the illustrations and stuff, but the fan fiction is the first time I've actually really delved into consistently writing fiction and trying to develop plot and storylines and things. And my next challenge for myself is going to be character development, developing unique characters. Something that I haven't done, because with fan fiction you don't really have to develop unique characters if you don't want to. You can use established characters, obviously. And so I'm hoping that if I can gain enough confidence in my writing between now and November and come up with an idea for an original story, so not a fan fiction story, but a completely original story, I might participate in NaNoWriMo in November. We'll see. And I may take you guys along with me on the journey for that if I decide to do that. So anyhow, so that's kind of the big thing that's been kind of taking up a lot of my time. Obviously, you know, I still have my business. I still have my husband, who finally just graduated. He just got his master's degree. So he's done with school finally, and he's starting to delve into building his own business as well now. So we've got all that going on, and we're starting to get into summer. So we've got a plan to go hiking and do some other fun stuff and everything else. And so, we'll see how things go with stuff. And there's so much going on YouTube right now that I'd love to talk about, and so I need to kind of think about some videos I can make over the next few weeks and talk about things. So anyway, that's my update. Hopefully I'm back, and hopefully you guys are happy that I'm back. If you are happy that I'm back, please leave a comment down below and tell me to keep making videos, because I don't want to feel like I'm just talking to the camera with no one listening. So please tell me that you're watching, tell me that you enjoy my videos. It would mean the world to me. And until next week, take care. Bye-bye.